This podcast replay is brought to you by Pallet Rack City, specializing in knockdown and installations of your warehouse equipment. They also sell used forklifts and dock equipment, largest used rack inventory in South Florida. You want a great rack? Call Eddie right now, 305-887-9212, Pallet Rack City. I promised you we're going to talk to Jim Nagy, director of the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Senior Bowl. Can't wait to go for my 21st year to the Reese's Senior Bowl. You can follow him on Twitter like I and so many others do at JimNagy_SB. Let's go to the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Jim, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Oh, how are you doing?
I am loving life, my brother, counting down to my favorite week of the year, which is the week in Mobile. I love it. Jim, I always love when I could get people in the NFL all relaxed, because that's what I do in your event that week. I get them relaxed. They can talk. During the season, they're so uptight and focused. You know what I'm saying. It's a whole different world getting a football person during the regular season and then in Mobile.
There's no doubt. No, that's one benefit for our week for the media, is that these guys are all down here. It's the small town atmosphere. The pressure's off. They're enjoying themselves. It's even a little different than the combine, just because you guys get so much more access than you do in Indianapolis.
Oh, no, actually in the combine, it starts to get ratcheted up like regular season feel almost at that point, because they're so competitive with the interviews and the information and all of that stuff. So, yeah, it gets when I get them at the East-West Shrine the week before and then at the Senior Bowl, it's they're a little bit more relaxed. They're a little more chill. I really like that. So let me ask you, Jim, what do you think we're going to hear in a few minutes from Tua? He's going to have a press conference. He's going to address us. I have no idea. Why do you think he's holding this press conference?
Your guess is as good as mine. I didn't even know he was having one. So focused. We've been watching tape all morning, just trying to finalize our roster here at the Senior Bowl. That the outside world has been kind of shut off for these last couple of weeks. But I don't know. I don't know if Tua's got a lot of things to consider. I think he's, moving forward, I think that's going to be the storyline of the spring, and maybe he'll answer that today and it won't be a storyline in the spring, but his decision on what he plans on doing with that hip injury moving forward is going to be big. I don't know why you would call a press conference if you weren't making some sort of big announcement. So that's interesting. I'll have to tune in when we get off the radio.
Yeah, see if he has some news out there. That would be interesting to see if Tua passes on any news of where he's at. Maybe it's just a status thing. Hey, I'm good and everything. Because I guess everybody's trying to figure out. He hasn't spoken to the media, so maybe if he ends up sending out that news, we'll see if we hear anything new from Tua. What do you think he should do?
I think he's got four options, and I don't know if there's a bad option. I've thought about this a little bit. I think he and his family could go in one of four ways. One, he could just come out right now and, make the teams roll the dice a little bit on that hip and, take a shot. I think that if the hip is feeling good enough by late June, early July, he could maybe hold a private workout just to kind of, show the teams where he's at physically and enter the supplemental draft. I think he could come back next year on a limited, on a longer timetable and maybe play half the season just to show the league that his body's right. And, going next year's draft, or he could come back and just sit out all of next year and go through the pre-draft process, come to Mobile, play in the Senior Bowl, go through the combine, go through pro days like he would if he were normally healthy. So, it's going to be interesting, but I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I really don't. I think, I think they all make sense, and his family's just got to weigh those things and figure out what's best for them.
Well, the article says injured quarterback Tua Tagovailoa or whatever will talk with reporters today at 3:30, where he's expected to discuss his decision-making process for his plans for next season. We'll see. That's interesting. All right, Jim, so give us the update on the Senior Bowl. So far, what quarterbacks do you have committed already for the Senior Bowl?
Well, the one quarterback we have committed is Anthony Gordon from Washington State. The other three that we've only invited three others, and it's Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert at Oregon, and Joe Burrow at LSU. And we've got verbal commitments from 2 of those guys. They all just want to get through championship weekend, which is Saturday, before they move forward. And again, a couple of those guys, Jalen and Joe, they got a lot on their plate. They're going to have probably Heisman ceremonies, the Home Depot award show, picking an agent, picking a quarterback guru to work them through the process, whether they play in an all-star game, don't play in an all-star game. There is so much on these kids' plates right now that we're not pushing them on the decision. And, we have 2 more to invite. And that's what we've been in the office watching tape all day on, just trying to get caught up on some late November stuff.
What do you like about Anthony Gordon? Because he's one of those under-the-radar guys, because everybody talks about the big names, but then he's kind of one of those under-the-radar guys that people talk about. What did you like about him? Because obviously if you're inviting him to your bowl game, you must like him.
Yeah, I do like him. He's he's a 1-year starter at Washington State. We've got a really unique circumstance here where this will be the 3rd year in a row we have a Washington State quarterback. They had Luke Falk 2 years ago, and then Gardner Minshew last year, and now Anthony this year. Anthony got beat out last year late in August camp by Gardner. And, if you look at it now, that's not really a knock on Anthony Gordon. He got beat out by a guy that looks like a starting quarterback in the NFL and has done a lot of really good things as a rookie in Jacksonville this year. So that's no slight. And he's got in this year, and he's played great. I mean, he's had games where he's thrown for 600 yards and 9 touchdowns. And, the air raid system has something to do with it. I think that system, when they were at Texas Tech with Mike Leach, I think it got a big knock. But you look at the success that they've had over the last, 3 or 4 years with Mahomes and Falk and now Gardner. I think that system's getting these guys ready. The game's changing in the NFL. They're throwing it around a lot more. They're being a lot more creative than they have been in the past. And I think coaching staffs in the NFL are doing a better job of playing the skill sets of their quarterback. So, I mean, if you break Anthony down, he's got maybe the quickest release I've seen in the last 5 years. I mean, he can really get the ball out of his hand fast. He's accurate, which is really hard to coach. He can throw from a ton of different arm angles and platforms. So he's got some gamer to him that way. He's got a coolness about him, which is really similar to Gardner last year. Both of them have a really cool body language and poise about them when they play. They're both tough. So I think this is the stage Anthony needs, being a 1-year starter. I think right now he's just had a lot of area scouts see him. And I think when he gets more director level and GM and head coach type guys looking at him, he's only going to go up through the process.
By the way, the other guys that you invited, which ones did you get commits from?
I can't tell you that because they haven't done it officially. So we got to wait till we get that stuff official. But we've got commitments through a couple family members of the other guys.
Okay, I got to try, Jim. I gotta ask.
I know.
Although I got to tell you, my gut tells me Joe Burrow's that dude because he just seems like that lunch pail dude. I don't know. That's just, you know what? Years ago, one of my first ones was the Carson Palmer one. And I got to tell you, Jim, okay, I was so blown away that week because Carson Palmer had no business going to that game. He was going to be the number 1 overall pick no matter what. But Carson loved the game. You could tell he wanted to meet people and meet the NFL teams, and he wasn't worried about injury or any of that because he just wanted to embrace all of these moments. And I respected that a lot. You know what I mean? It's one of those deals that you get to see a guy that you know really loves the game, and that was a great example of that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That was one of my first Senior Bowls as well. I was scouting on the West Coast when Carson came out, so he had a great senior year winning that Heisman Trophy. He was, now fast forward to this year. I mean, the thing we have with these guys is we've had 4 top 10 quarterbacks in our game in the last 3 years, including Baker, who went 1 overall a couple of years ago. So, you talk about fear of injury. When I got this job 18 months ago, did some research on injuries, and in the last 10 years, there's been one what you would call catastrophic injury at the Senior Bowl that's kept a guy out through the rest of the draft process that he sustained here in Mobile, and that was a corner out of Oklahoma, Aaron Colvin, back in 2014. And in that same time span, there's been 12 of those injuries at the Combine. So, it's funny that some agents try to use that you could come to the Senior Bowl and get hurt when statistics show you're exponentially more at risk going to the combine and doing things there.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 1,000%. I think Senior Bowl week is the most valuable week any young man could have if they get that invitation. Hey, just like the NFLPA Bowl or the East West, if that's where you're at and they're inviting you, those showcase moments are so important. I've been doing it for 20 years, so I see the benefits from it. I've watched Jimmy Garoppolo, go from a nobody in the East West to get the late invite to the Senior Bowl, and then the rest is history. This happens all the time. These bowl games are so important. They catapult you, because these teams get you in an environment that they haven't seen you yet, because all they ever do is see you on TV, pretty much.
No, that's the benefits that the seniors have coming to these games. And now that we can bring juniors now that graduate in December, so we had 12 of those in the game last year, but yeah, the benefit is, like you said, you spend the time and you get a comfort level with them. And I can't tell you, there's 3 or 4 GMs called me after the draft last year. And there was a couple teams that I know the Raiders have 7 of our guys from last year's game. I know the Bengals picked 6 of them. And these guys were calling me saying, we felt so much better taking that name off the board because we felt like we really knew the player and we really felt like we knew the person. So it's just like from a general manager's perspective, there was such an ease of taking that name off the board and feeling good about it, rather than some of these juniors, the schools don't talk about them very much. You don't have as much exposure to them, so there's a little bit of a keep your fingers crossed when you take that name off the board. And with 7 days here in Mobile, and like you said, the atmosphere, and it's more laid back. It's not as intense. These kids can be themselves. The teams can get a good feel for what kind of guys they are. I think it benefits the teams, and I know it benefits the players.
Oh yeah, listen. I've seen it for 20 years. I know it benefits the players in a big time way. Jim Nagy, by the way, joining us, the senior director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. You can follow him on Twitter, like I and so many others do, at @JimNagy_Senior Bowl. Jim, one of the things that I always love telling people is that, because I've been doing it for a long time, if you're a football fan, a hardcore football fan, this is one of those experiences that I tell people, if you get a chance, go out there for a couple days, check out the practices, go to the game itself on Saturday. And you guys have so many events for fans too. Can you take a minute or two to kind of explain to people that are football nuts how much of an experience this is, how much of a cool experience this is for football fans and for kids?
Yeah, Orlando, I think you nailed it. I think if you've come here once, you're going to want to come back. And that's something. I was up in Nashville this past year as part of the ESPN crew doing the draft coverage stuff. And, when you work in the NFL, like I knew the draft process was becoming big, but when you work in the NFL, you're kind of oblivious to it. You're working on the draft and trying to build your football team. So, now to be out of the league and doing what I'm doing now and be in Nashville to see the spectacle that Nashville was, with 300, whatever it was, 600,000 people and 47.5 million people, watching it on TV. This event is so much different. I feel like it's, from a football perspective, it's so much better than anything else because, one, like you talked about, you can go to practice and see the best in the country, best on best. You stand 10 feet from these drills. Then you can go back to the hotel and grab a Baker Mayfield or a Daniel Jones, someone that's going to be a top 10 pick, and take a selfie with them or shake their hand. And then you can go out at night and walk up and down Dolphin Street, which is our main drag here in Mobile, and, pop in and out of bars and see your head coach and your GM and have a beer with them. It's just like, it's a really unique week. And, the nice thing was when I got back from the draft last year, I reached out to a lot of media people about, how do we get the word out? And the reassuring thing was, they're like, Jim, I think that the fans see your event as an NFL event and a media event, but it's not. I don't think fans see it as a fan event, and that made me feel good because we obviously haven't done a good enough job in our office of promoting it as such. Because this is an unbelievable fan event, and that's really on us in this office to do a better job of communicating that to the public. Because again, I think if fans come, they'll keep coming back every year because it's just such a unique venue, and to have 100 draftable players in one city this size with 900 NFL people, it's pretty incredible.
Well, just so you know, Jim, I've been doing it for 20 years. For 20 years, I've been telling people that it's a great family event, and it's the perfect fanatical event for a football fan. They are going to be drunk all over. And here's the other thing. People don't realize, and I meant by drunk on football, folks, not alcohol. Anyway, the other thing, Jim, what people don't realize is game day. The atmosphere on game day is so cool because it's a college-like atmosphere, but all the colleges are there pretty much. That's the cool part, that Georgia fans are there, Alabama fans, FSU fans, Florida fans, whatever. It's just little clitches of fans, groups of fans all over, tailgating, cooking, all that stuff. It is an awesome atmosphere game day. And you got people lining up from like 4 days before, 5 days before to get a spot in there, which is amazing.
Yeah, the game day atmosphere is great. Well, I talked to a couple of our small school players last year, and last year we were in the mid 30s in our attendance. The stadium seats 40,000. Our last sellout was actually when Tim Tebow played in it. So we're looking at another potential sellout this year if we can get Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts down here, because Jalen Hurts is a huge figure in the state of Alabama still.
Yes.
For all he did for the Crimson Tide. But no, it's some of these small school kids said, this is by far the best crowd I've ever played in front of in my life. They pack it in, like you said. It's a great environment. It's just like another college football Saturday, but with, it's like a melting pot of fan bases, which is really cool. And again, now that we've really started to encourage more NFL fans, because again, our motto is the draft starts in Mobile. We had 37% of last year's draft played in our game, and including the 10 first rounders. So we're trying to encourage more NFL fan bases to get up here and enjoy the week. I mean, if you're bring a group of Dolphins fans up, grab 15, 20 guys and make it a long weekend, and see these guys up close see the Daniel Joneses before they get drafted 6th overall, or things like that. So it's an incredible week, and game day is a ton of fun.
Jim, you just gave me an idea. Maybe we try to encourage a group of Dolphin fans, because we're actually doing a 3-day broadcast in Vegas at a bar called Tommy Rockers. We're going to have about 300 Dolphin fans there, and we're going to broadcast the whole draft, Dolphin style, of course, with that angle.
Well, here's an idea for you. So
okay.
I was looking into that this summer. And the Hooters Casino, the Hooters Casino, which I didn't even know there was one, the Hooters Casino in Las Vegas,
yes,
for draft weekend, rooms start at $999 a night.
Ooh.
So if you book the week before the draft or the week after the draft, those same rooms are $79. So they're marking that stuff up almost 1,200%. You can come to Mobile during Senior Bowl week, actually see football, meet these players, meet your head coach and your general manager, and have a beer with them at a bar, and you can stay down the street a block from the Players Hotel for $83 a night. So
crazy.
To me, I don't know how many people have $1,000 can pay $1,000 a night in a hotel. I know I can't.
No.
So I don't know where you're getting these 300 fans from, because you got a rich fan base, because I know I couldn't go out there and spend that money. This is, again, it's a very coming to Mobile for the Senior Bowl. Not only is the football experience so great, but it's also affordable.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Jim Nagy, of course, Senior Bowl director, joining us. Jim, before I let you go, what are our local commitments, either UM, FIU, FAU? What do we got going on in the Senior Bowl so far?
Yeah, your local guys. We've got 87 guys accepted. We haven't had anyone decline us yet. It's unbelievable. Our acceptance rate's through the roof this year. At Miami, you got Trayvon Hill, who's the defensive end. He was a transfer from Vatech. I don't know if he was, put in the position to do exactly what he does best, which is rush the passer. You watch some of the Vatech stuff from a year ago. The guy looks like a first-round pick. So he's got all the tools. The NFL is really excited to see him down here. And then at FAU, we got the tight end Harrison Bryant, who really just blew up this year, had a monster year. For Lane Kiffin's team. His numbers are through the roof. He's really athletic. Anyone that's seen FAU play knows how good he is with the ball in his hands. So those are the two local guys for you. And then we got a bunch of Gators. We don't have any Seminoles yet, but I think that speaks to where their program's at. But we've got four guys at UF. And we may be adding a couple. We might be adding one or two more from the state of Florida.
All right, give me who are the 4 guys from the Gators? We got plenty of Gator fans down here.
Yeah, we got LaMichael Pirine, the running back. He's our only local Mobile guy in the game this year. We have Jabari Zuniga, the defensive lineman. Jonathan Grenard, who had a huge year for him this year, the Louisville transfer. And Van Jefferson, the wide receiver from Florida.
All right, good stuff there. All right, folks, find out more about the Senior Bowl. Go to the website, seniorbowl.com. And, of course, follow my man, Jim Nagy. He is a great follow. And, by the way, Jim, awesome stuff by you guys on social media. That is so important, as you know. But you guys are doing a great job connecting people and exposing your product on social media.
I really appreciate that, Orlando. I've never, working in the NFL, I never was on social media a day in my life, and I took this job and I had to dive in with both feet because it's really the only way we can recruit these players. You can't really get in front of them. You can't really have contact with them. So to connect on social media has been huge, and that's why we've had, I truly believe that's why we've had such an uptick in participation the last 2 years with the first rounders and the way we're going this year for this year. It's all because of social media.
Yeah, social media is a key, my brother. It is what it is. Jim, thank you for taking some time, as always, my man. Look forward to doing it again. We'll talk again. And then, of course, we'll be rocking all week out there at the Senior Bowl. We can't wait, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Orlando, love coming on, man. Have me on anytime. And if I don't talk to you before the holidays, have a good holiday.
You got it, baby. You be good. Be safe. Have a great holiday. Thank you, Jim. There you go, Jim Nagy, man. Senior Bowl Executive Director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Let me get the plug in also. And would be pissed at me at Reese's if I didn't get the Reese's Senior Bowl plug in. Okay? If I don't do that, then she doesn't give me free Reese's when I get there. I leave every year with like a box of Reese's cups, a box of this, a box of that.
You know how well I know? Mounds.
Yes.
Right? A whole box of mounds sent to you.
Yes, she sent me mounds because she didn't have mounds because I'm like the weirdo that likes mounds. I know.
Well,
you know, but like most of these people don't know that. They know I'm a weirdo, but I'm just saying I am a crazed maniac that I love mounds, okay? And I know most people are like, that's a disgusting chocolate bar. Chocolate and
Almond Joy's got nuts, mounds don't.
Right. And
just
so
chocolate and coconut.
Yeah, chocolate. And you know what? It's not like I crave coconut in any other way, shape, or form. Just in mounds.
Not even a coconut cake with the
Nothing.
shavings, nothing.
Nothing.
A bag of dehydrated, no.
I don't eat coconut.
So what the hell are you doing eating mounds?
I told you I'm a weirdo.
Okay.
When you're a weirdo, and you just got to admit it. That's all. I'm a weirdo. What can I tell? I can't explain it, but I like mounds. So she didn't.
We knew your wife was the same for dealing with you, but it's confirmed.
She brings all the popular ones that Reese's and Hershey's make. You know what I mean? There. And she gives out mostly Reese's, but she'll have some other Hershey products stashed, and so she might give some out. But Mounds is not part of it. But I'm the idiot that asks, hey, do you have Mounds? She goes, no, we don't bring those. And I go, okay, I get it. And she goes, why, you like them? I go, they're my favorite out of, that group. And she goes, really? And I go, yeah. So she sent me a box in the mail. I was like, yeah. It lasted me a while. Did last a while because I wasn't going to binge on them because
I would hope not.
It's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah.